Beyonce, does she make more money from her music or her castles? I mean, you have heard of Beyonce castles. Welcome to the Allotment Diaries, part of an adventure in taste and time. This week, not a lot of infrastructure stuff, more consolidating what we got and a little bit more planting out, which is great. So, and also have a little think about how near do I get to no dig and how near I will get in the future. If you're not sure what that is, don't worry, I'll talk about it in a bit. So, off to plot 35. So, welcome to the plot. Let's do things backwards this week, just for a laugh. So we're starting in the greenhouse, where you'll see cucumbers, one is strung up, and some basil, which I just repotted from a store-bought. So here is the store-bought basil. Took it out of its packaging and out of its pot. It's the growing basil, of course, not in a package, though I have seen people make cuttings from those. Into the water, start to tease the roots apart, because it's many plants of basil in one pot, and then maybe leave it for a little while for the roots to soak through, and then simply finish separating the separate plants out of the original mass of roots. And I've got to tidy up these shelves at the back because they've got to go out so we can get some support for the cucumbers at the end. And also they're probably casting a little bit of shadow. We've had some rain here, so we don't have to water outside. Down here we have our outdoor tomatoes, 6 of them, most of them Prima Bella, an outdoor one. One looks like it's not going to survive, but you know, to be honest, this time of year, if it doesn't, I'm just going to buy somebody's plant for 50p or a pound. Let's go into the tomato cage. Now it's awful to walk through in a way, because you know it's probably impossible now to walk through without treading on a strawberry, and you know, I'm going to have to offer some friends strawberries, jam, dehydrate. Let's think what to do with strawberries. Any other ideas? Stick them in the comments. But look, if we come over here, we have some strawberries turning red. So very soon we're going to be having a glut of strawberries, which is a problem I'm rather looking forward to, better than the other way around. I hate stepping through them. Just saw one going red right by my foot. Right. Weeding. This is where I think we're going to have to start concentrating on from here on. Potatoes, the swift has gone yellow, and it's supposed to be swift. It's not very big, but I'm thinking about let's try digging them out and sort of seeing whether they're yellow. Probably means they're ready. They are, well, the name suggests they're going to be quite quick. I just thought they'd grow a bit larger, but I don't mind because they're really small, because as I mentioned before, I think I put them far too near to the path. So yeah, the peas, after a lot of putting up netting and then afterwards having to put my hand underneath to weed them out, which was not easy. They're looking okay. They're probably a little bit behind where they should be, but we're saving them, aren't we? I've decided to do some green beans, probably on this plot. So this bed we have chard, module sown, spring onions, blight-free carrots. Don't even see that they are just popping their heads up. A mixture of red lettuce and Morton's secret mix of lettuce, of organic lettuces from real seeds. Well, they're looking great, aren't they? We'll be harvesting. So we've already harvested them. And there's more. These spring onions, they're looking good. The beetroot, crazy, I was just worried about it, and now we're harvesting it. I had some shaved into a salad the other day, and they're getting golf ball size, so I'm thinking this weekend roast parsnips on Sunday, roast beetroot with some chicken and stuff on Sunday maybe. Underneath the netting, ooh, look at that, radish, and it's quite weird that most of it is just developing, except the one that's almost, well, really needs to come out rapidly, yeah. And the carrots, in between there is some parsnips, and these are the carrots, and I'm thinking about interplanting where the carrots don't seem to have germinated, same with the parsnips, and get them up. And it looks like after topping and continual spraying with water, just with a few drops of detergent, that we've won the battle of the blackfly on the raw beans, which is great. Moving round behind, we see outdoor cucumbers in pots which are crowns. That one's got a flower. I'll take that out because we don't want them to concentrate on flowering at the moment. We want to concentrate them on growing a bit. And sweet corn, yeah, that's coming along. Right, what's going on in the polytunnel? Well, the tomatoes are all here. Again, there's a flower on one of the tomatoes at the end. We'll take that off, but hopefully most of them, yeah, all these, another flower there, all these seem to be growing, and the idea is I'll train them up these strings, which we've got one for each one. In fact, we even started on one over there. So outside, this area's been weeded, and I've just got to finish that area of weeding there. I think I'm going to be starting putting some squashes here. Courgette, yellow crookneck, which is sort of like a funny little one. Hopefully be nice. The catalogue says that they're very nice. Into the brassica cage. Yes, there's more weeding to go, but down here we have some cabbages given by my friend Bridget. In the left-hand corner, in the right-hand corner, all along here are summer cabbages, and only two, so I've got to get some more, are cauliflowers. Got to sow some more again, but I want one for Christmas Day. That's the plan. Globe artichokes. Yep. One of these days I really must do a video or mix of where we started when these were just, all these things are tiny seedlings, Asparagus sown to that this year, and asparagus crowns, 1-year-old crowns. Not a lot more to say really. The rhubarb again needs more weeding. You won't believe that bit I did weed the other week. Raspberries, but they are looking good. But yeah, and again a little bit more weeding in the orchard area. I've netted where there is more than a few little berries. Won't be many, but there will be some, hopefully. Well, that's it. Let's go back to the garden, see what's sown there. When I started thinking about my allotment, even before I got it, I thought it's going to be no dig. But what is no dig? This is a philosophy or a way of gardening, vegetable gardening. The main champion of it is Charles Dowden. And the idea is you don't dig the bed at all, you lay on compost quite a lot to start with, and then annually add a little bit more to add more nutrients to the bed. The philosophy behind it is that the soil maintains its structure, wormholes aren't collapsed through digging, so that they help aerate roots. The mitochondrial layer of fungus helps the plants, and also less work. What's happening in reality is I don't quite have the guts to fully do it. Where I've got raised beds, I put compost down, they will be, touch wood, no dig. Similarly, beds in the polytunnel and greenhouse. But particularly where I put in the perennials, I felt I don't know how much nutrition is in this soil, so I have been digging, as you might have seen in previous videos, a hole, putting some compost, blood, fish and bone, maybe or just bone meal, so that I know that there's something down there for the leaves to get on with. The same has been for outside cucumbers. And then there's a bean trench. Well, that's complete opposite of no dig, and I think that it is a nostalgia because my parents had the bean trench in their garden, and I thought I'll have my own. I had one before, my own bean trench. Going forward, as I get the confidence, maybe there will be less digging after this year, where I feel that the plot is more established. So, you know, hopefully we'll see where we're going with that. Okay, let's have a little look round the garden. Before we do that, I must mention I made a salad with everything from the garden, including beetroot, baby broad beans, peas, excuse the excellent camera angle, and of course finishing with lettuces or mixed leaves. Okay, let's finally go over to the seeds and seedlings. First of all, looking at the Roma beans, although there are a couple of germinating still, a lot of them haven't. I think it's time now to maybe start planting out what we've got. So by next week we'll have these out in the plot, even the ones that are just coming. So I think these bigger ones, yeah, they've got to go. Sadly, the home sown ones, nothing. And there's not a lot to say here. I've moved the basil into this mini greenhouse because the weather's turned a bit colder. Here are the old cucumbers, which I've been on, and it looks like there's a bit of slug damage on that, slug trail. So I wonder if there is a slug lurking underneath there. Look, there's a snail. Excuse me. veil over what just happened. Off my crooknecks, some of crooknecks, which are similar to courgettes, and 2 courgettes are growing. Now it looks like a basil might have got in there. Oh, we'll just let that grow on and see if we can prick it out and put it somewhere. Tomato is not looking happy, so I haven't put it in the plot. I just thought I'd leave it there to see whether it shuffles off its mortal coil or recovers, which sometimes can happen. Over on the seedling bench, the leeks that I thought weren't going to germinate are doing fine. I've got more leeks coming. These are Cavallera Neros, which were gifted to me by my friend Bridget. The herbs, coriander, dill, parsley, well, they're looking good, and they can go out in modular. Brassicas, okay, and the lettuce, I'm going to have to start thinking about putting them out. Okay, so that's where we are now. See you next week.